What do I love most about my job? I mean, the horses. That's pretty cut and dry. There you go, show him your teeth, good job. Oh, he is scratching his butt on our son, that's nice. Oh my God. Having grown up in the area, I don't know, I've always felt a connection with him and I've loved him since I was a little kid. I remember in the evenings especially, come up and see if you could spot horses. And so I can't imagine this area without the wild horses, and I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. It made an impression on me, that's for sure. My name is Meg Puckett, and I am the herd manager for the Corolla Wild Horse Fund. The Corolla Wild Horse Fund is located in Corolla, North Carolina, at the very northern end of the Outer Banks. So this is the fence, so everything north of here is open to horses. The Corolla Wild horses, they're banker horses, and they were originally brought here by the Spanish 500-600 years ago. The horses have about 7,500 acres available to them, and there are 104 horses in the herd. They would use these barrier islands as natural containment for livestock. And so eventually what happened is the herd got pushed to either end, very northern end and the very southern end, and that's it. It's kind of like finding a needle in the haystack sometimes. A day in the life. If I'm up on the beach, it looks like I'm just driving around looking at pretty ponies, but there is a lot of work that's happening. Making sure everybody looks good and healthy. These horses have faced challenges since the minute their hooves hit the sand here. Oh, there's some right here. Whether it was 500 years ago or today. The stallion is the darker one here in the back, and then his two mares. As blustery as it is, they're out here eating grass ahead of this storm and kind of getting ready probably to go back in the woods or back in the marsh. We've definitely seen changes in the type of weather that we get. It seems more tropical now than it ever has. You get really bad flooding rains and then no rain. And then you get more flooding rain. When there's weather coming in, you do tend to see them out grazing. They're kind of getting ready for it. The horses can sense it. They know where to go. They know where the high spots are. It might not be easy, but they can deal with it. But, in recent years, we have been struggling a lot more with things that the horses have never faced before, like increased development. Development definitely over the last 100 years has been what has pushed the horses to where they are now. People living here is not something that's new, but the increase in vacation rental homes is definitely new. And that's what's happened over the decades is, they had the entire barrier island, and then they had a little bit less, and then they had a little bit less. The vacation market up here really exploded. Our beach has been very, very crowded. So where we used to see large groups of horses on the beach in the summer, we're not seeing that anymore. So this is JW, also called Jumper. And with that, you're gonna see an increase in horse and human interactions. Hey, Fed, you just wanna clear out of the way so he's got some room to come out? The more people we have, the more garbage we have. We've had 2 horses in the last year choke on things that they were either fed or found in the garbage. There's maybe 300 of these horses left in the world, so. And the real problem is we are seeing an increase in waterborne diseases. So you can see the horse here and standing in the water eating the plant. We haven't had a really solid freeze in probably 3 years. And so when you have the flooding rains and then it doesn't get cold enough to kill all the bacteria in the water, in the last 2 years, we've lost between 4 and 5 horses to environmental issues and specifically water that has bacteria, fungus, things like that growing in it. I'm taking you away from breakfast. This is Riptide, and he was removed last August because he had a fungal infection called pitheosis. What happened is he had a little cut and then it got infected with the fungus. Building has a lot to do with that as well. When you start building houses on a very unstable spit of land, that's going to change where you have standing water and where the water goes when it does rain. It's pretty bad, and the survival rate is very low. And so the fact that he survived says a lot about him and a lot about our vet team at NC State too. So the more you change the topography, the more issues you're going to have like that. You know, obviously we track incidents, right? So if we have a horse get sick, or we have to remove a horse, or if a horse dies, we make note of the reason for that. It's getting to the point now where we're really struggling with the separation between an environmental factor and a human factor. You know, those two issues are definitely becoming kind of the same issue. These horses, they've been here for 500-600 years. They are an incredibly important cultural and historical resource. It never gets old seeing horses on the beach. It never gets old seeing horses anywhere. The thought of them disappearing from this place is devastating. You know, every time we come up on them, it's always really special. So we have to figure out a way to keep the environment healthy and stable enough and have enough room for them to help them stay here and stay wild. This is exactly why it's very difficult not to get attached to them. It's always entertaining. If we're thoughtful about it, if we're responsible about it, it'll be okay, but it's going to take some work.